show you. So this is one of the cards that we did at my stamp class last month, and we used a beautiful watercoloring technique, and you can see a little bit more of a up close here. And so today we're just going to show you how to do that. Make sure that if you're watching this on my YouTube, you click a like, give me a thumbs up, do a comment so that I know that you're here and I know that you want to see more videos. So let's get started. All right, to get started, we're going to use the stamp set Every Good Wish, and we're going to be using the stamp that says Be Merry. Now you can see this is a negative impression of the stamp, so the actual outline is where it's going to stamp, and then you will see that the Be Merry does not stamp. Now on here, it's going to be a little bit harder to see because we are going to use our Versamark ink pad, and this is a watermark stamp pad. So if you use it just directly onto a cardstock, you're going to see that it just does a watermark image on it. So a little bit darker than most of our cardstocks, but this is also the ink that we use for heat embossing. So I'm going to use it now because it's a little bit bigger. I tend to use it ink to stamp. So I'm just going to, sorry, my table jiggles here. Just ink that really nicely up. And I'm using our watercolor paper because it is a watercolor technique. This is the best paper to use. So I'm going to stamp that right in the middle. And you want to give it a little bit of pressure. Make sure that you have the whole image on there. So I don't know if you can see that. A little bit, I guess. So you can see a little bit of a watermark. And we're going to be using our white embossing powder. Now, most of my powders I have in these plastic containers just because it's easier for me to use this way. So just use a plastic spoon, and I'm just going to cover it completely like that. And then you want to tap off the excess. So now that we have the embossing powder on there, you can see it looks like powder, and we're going to use our heat tool to melt it. We're going to be using our Lemon Lime Twist and our Berry Burst, and these are two of our new in colors for this year. And what you want to do is open it up slightly, press in that lid to the ink pad, and you're going to have this color, and that's going to become your color palette. So do the same to the Lemon Lime, and you have your two coloring. I think we're going to need just a little bit more on that one. There we go. And we're going to use our aqua painters, making sure that there's water in the barrel. And you don't want too much water in here, but you're going to squeeze it a bit just to get some water. And I usually go on to my scrap paper just to make sure that it's not totally soaked. I know my fingers get so messy. We're going to start with the Lemon Lime Twist, and you're going to just color all around your edges. And being that this is watercolor paper, you're going to see that your color actually smooths out really nicely. Once you're happy with how your lime looks, we're going to start with our second color and just go all the way around. Now this one here becomes your resist technique because that embossing powder is going to resist the color. So I'm going to overlap my lime just a little bit, but not so much that it becomes muddy. And you just want to go all the way across on top of your embossing powder. It gets kind of wet puddles on top of the embossing powder, but we're going to fix that in just a little bit. Once you're happy in how it looks, you can either take a paper towel, which I didn't bring with me, or just turn it around. You can see I had some play on the background here. Turn it around and get that color off the embossing powder. And depending on how wet your paper is, you can actually use your heat tool again to heat set it or just set it aside to dry. Now you can see here I got a little bit of color on my green, but the cardstock is pretty forgiving. So you can actually remove some of that color of the Berry Burst and then just add a little bit more of the lemon lime. There we go. I'm going to be using the splatter stamp. Now I'm going to fix my ink pad before I do this. Just like to have it locked into place. and my poinsettia. So I'm going to start with the poinsettia. Now with this one here, you just want to be careful not to rock and roll because you can get a shadow on the side, so like that, and we don't want to do that. And I'm going to use my splatter stamp just to go all the way around my green. You can stamp more than once, it gives you kind of a different color. So I'm pretty happy with how the outside is looking. Now I'm going to take actually a little bit more of my Berry Burst, and just for fun, sorry, hold on here, got to take my lid apart. I'm so used to closing them up. I'm just going to take a little, oh, I just did on my green. All right, take the right one, and you're going to, just going to take that and just pop out that wording a little bit more. So don't worry about what it looks like on your embossing powder because you can actually wipe that right off. See how it's making that word just kind of pop out more? So pretty. All right, so you can see how in this sample, I just popped out that wording a little bit more, so pretty. Or you can just let it kind of be a little bit more muted like we had in our original card. You can see we used our Berry Burst ribbon, and this is our crinkled ribbon, and it is super soft, super easy to work with, and I love it. It comes in all of our in colors, I think. And we just added some of our rhinestones and then mounted it onto one of the coordinating cardstocks. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next video.